Good day, everyone. Here's your reflections at 60. Well, I just came back from a short trip back home purposely to attend to the funeral of my sister. And while I was home, I was looking at this cabinet with lots of old photo albums. And I got one and I was browsing it and I saw this photo. What is this photo? This is the old church where I grew up in. And let me share you some of the memories I have in this church. So, as a 6 year old boy, 5 years old, 6 years old, my mom made sure that we are nowhere else on Sundays except in church. And generally, I don't have any problem with that. I love listening to the Bible stories, stories about Jacob, stories about David, stories about Queen Esther, and all those characters. And I love listening to this. I love the say the game of I don't know if you call it a game, but we have to memorize some Bible verses, and it was fun. The teacher, Sunday school teacher, know how to do. To engage us, and I love the action songs. So that's where I first learned about "I'm too young to march in the infantry, ride on the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I'm too young to zoom for the enemy, but I am in the Lord's army." I still remember that song. I learned that in Sunday school. So I love Sunday school. I didn't have problem with it. The problem starts when, okay, after the Sunday school, there is this divine service where, part of that was the pastor would deliver an hour or more than an hour of a sermon, preaching. And for a 5 year old or 6 year old kid, that's torture. And the problem is my mom would make sure that I'm not going anywhere. I would sit beside her while she's listening to the preaching. And that's where the boredom starts. I would perhaps sit there for 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, I would start tagging her clothes, asking for money to go to the store and buy something. Well, of course, I already know the answer, but I keep doing that. My mom would say no, but I keep doing it. Okay? And then at times when I really cannot stand the boredom because I'm listening to something I don't understand, I would fall asleep. And then one time, um, well, again, it usually starts with, "Mom, give me money, I'll go to the store." And then of course, I already know the answer, but I keep doing it. And then um, it's not working. So I was about to fall asleep. And then I just reached down under the chair, church pews, and I touched something. I was trying to feel it. And I guess I know what it is. Chewed bubble gums. Somebody must have finished chewing that bubble gum and plucked it in the air. So my 6 year old mind starts working, and okay, I like counted 1, 2, 3, pretend to stretch, and then put it to my mouth without my mom noticing it. And there you go. I had a recycled bubble gum to beat the boredom. And from then on, I already knew the fix that I need every time I get bored listening to the preaching. Reach out under the chairs and look for recycled bubble gums. Sometimes I'm lucky, I would find one. Sometimes I don't. So if I don't, the option is to sleep. If I'm lucky enough to find one, then there you go. I would enjoy my 1 hour time tasting whatever sweets is left on that recycled bubblegum. Now looking back today, I don't remember most of the sermons from the Sundays. Well, how can I remember? I don't even understand them that time. But I remember my mom making sure that I was in church every single week. I remember the songs. I remember I'm too young to march in the infantry. I remember the people. I remember my Sunday school teacher. I remember a little 6-year-old boy trying to survive a 1 hour sermon with recycled bubble gum. Funny how childhood works, right? Sometimes God reaches children even when they're chewing someone else's bubble gum. Have a good day, everyone. This is Reflections at 60.